The rain arrived without warning, transforming the evening sky into a canvas of charcoal grays. Noah Bennett huddled beneath the awning of a closed coffee shop, watching pedestrians scatter like startled birds. He'd checked the weather forecast. That morning, clear skies they'd promised. Yet here he was, dressed in only a thin button-down shirt, his dark hair already dampening at the edges. A particularly fierce gust of wind sent a spray of raindrops beneath the awning. Noah stepped back, bumping shoulders with someone who had just sought the same shelter. He turned to apologize, and found himself looking into eyes the color of warm honey. "Sorry," they both said simultaneously, then laughed. She was about his age, mid-20s, with auburn hair that curled wildly in the humidity. Her cream-colored dress was speckled with raindrops, and she hugged her arms around herself, shivering slightly. "Looks like the weatherman lied to both of us," Noah said, gesturing to the downpour. She smiled, revealing a slight dimple in her right cheek. "I was supposed to meet friends for dinner. Now I'm wondering if I should make a run for the subway or wait it out." Noah glanced at his watch. He was already late for his sister's birthday dinner, but something made him hesitate. Without overthinking it, he shrugged off his jacket, a well-worn leather one that had seen him through 4 Boston winters. "Here," he said, holding it out to her. "Take this." She blinked in surprise. "Oh, I couldn't. I insist. My destination is just around the corner." It wasn't exactly true. The restaurant was a 15-minute walk away, but the grateful look in her eyes made the little white lie worth it. "That's incredibly kind of you," she said, slipping her arms into the jacket. It was too large for her, the sleeves falling past her fingertips, but she looked oddly at home in it. "I'm Eliza, by the way. Eliza Chen. Noah Bennett." He felt a strange reluctance to leave, despite the time. "Look, I don't normally do this, but maybe I could get your number." To get the jacket back, of course. A smile played at the corners of her mouth. Of course, for the jacket. They exchanged numbers, and Noah watched as she darted into the rain, his jacket pulled tight around her shoulders. He stood there long after she disappeared from view, feeling as though something significant had just happened, though he couldn't explain why. By the time Noah arrived at the restaurant, his shirt was plastered to his skin, and his hair dripped onto the hostess stand. His sister, Madeline, took one look at him and burst into laughter. "What happened to you?" she asked, sliding over in the booth to make room. "And where's your jacket? The one you practically live in." Noah shook his head, spraying droplets across the table. "You wouldn't believe me if I told you." Later that night, as Noah changed into dry clothes in his small apartment, his phone buzzed with a text message. "Your jacket saved my life tonight." Well, maybe not my life, but definitely my new dress. "When can I return it?" Noah smiled, typing back, "No rush. It looks better on you anyway." He hesitated, then added, "Actually, there's a great coffee shop on Commonwealth Ave. Brownstone Coffee. Maybe we could meet there." The response came almost immediately. "Tomorrow, 2 p.m. I'll be the one in the oversized leather jacket." Noah fell asleep that night with a strange anticipation humming through his veins, something he hadn't felt in a long time. The next day, Noah arrived at Brownstone Coffee 20 minutes early, his nerves making him fidgety. He chose a table by the window, ordered a black coffee, and pretended to read the news on his phone while stealing glances at the door. At exactly 2 o'clock, the bell above the door jingled, and Eliza walked in. She was wearing his jacket over, a simple blue dress, her hair pulled back into a loose ponytail. She spotted him immediately and waved, weaving between tables to reach him. "Hi," she said, slightly breathless. "Sorry if I'm late. The tea was running behind schedule." "You're right on time," Noah replied, standing to pull out a chair for her. "Can I get you something to drink?" "A chai latte, please. And I should give you this back." She began to shrug off his jacket. "Keep it on," Noah said quickly. It's still chilly outside. They spent the next 2 hours talking, as if they'd known each other for years. Noah learned that Eliza was a children's book illustrator who had moved to Boston from San Francisco just 6 months ago. She had a younger brother who was studying marine biology in Australia, and she collected vintage teacups, but never used them for actual tea. In turn, Noah told her about his job as an architectural photographer, his sister Madeline's bakery, where he sometimes helped out on weekends, and his secret dream of one day photographing ancient ruins around the world. "So, Noah Bennett," Eliza said, tracing the rim of her empty mug with her finger, "is this how you usually meet women? By rescuing them from rainstorms?" Noah laughed. "Believe it or not, you're the first. I don't make a habit of giving away my clothing to strangers." "Lucky me then." Her smile was warm, open. "I should probably give this back now, though." She began to remove the jacket again. "Keep it," Noah found himself saying. "It gives me an excuse to see you again." Eliza's cheeks flushed slightly. "Are you asking me out on a date?" "I think I am," Noah admitted. "Unless you think it's too soon." "I don't believe in too soon when it comes to connections that feel right," she said, meeting his gaze directly. "So, yes, I'd like that very much." Their first official date was 3 days later, at a small Italian restaurant tucked away in Boston's North End. Noah arrived early, again, and found himself straightening his tie for the 3rd time when Eliza appeared at the entrance. She wore a deep green dress that complemented her auburn hair, which fell in soft waves around her shoulders. His jacket was draped over her arm, and she handed it to him with a theatrical bow. "As promised, your jacket, sir, though I must confess, I've grown quite attached to it." Noah took it, catching a faint whiff of something floral. Her perfume, he realized. "Thank you for taking such good care of it," he said, draping it over the back of his chair. Dinner was a relaxed affair, with conversation flowing as easily as the wine. Noah found himself captivated by the way Eliza's hands moved when she talked, the way she tilted her head when she listened. By the time they finished dessert, a tiramisu they agreed to share, the restaurant had nearly emptied out. "Would you like to walk for a bit?" Noah asked as they stepped outside. The night was clear, the air crisp with early autumn. "I'd love to," Eliza replied, her breath visible in the cool air. They strolled along the cobblestone streets, shoulders occasionally brushing. Noah found himself wanting to reach for her hand, but hesitated, unsure if it was too forward. As if reading his mind, Eliza's fingers gently interlaced with his. "Is this okay?" she asked, glancing up at him. "More than okay," Noah replied, giving her hand a gentle squeeze. They walked in comfortable silence for a while, until they reached a small park. The city lights sparkled around them, and above, a few stubborn stars managed to outshine the urban glow. "I never believed in instant connections," Eliza said suddenly, her voice soft. "I always thought people who claimed to feel something special right away were just romanticizing a basic attraction." Noah turned to face her. "And now? Now I'm not so sure," she admitted. "There's something about you, Noah Bennett. Something that feels, I don't know, familiar somehow. Like I've known you longer than a few days." Noah brushed a strand of hair from her face, his fingers lingering on her cheek. "I feel it too," he said quietly. "And it scares me a little." "Why?" Eliza asked, leaning slightly into his touch. "Because things that feel this good usually don't last," he replied honestly. "At least that's been my experience." Eliza's eyes searched his. Maybe we should give it a chance anyway. Noah wasn't sure who leaned in first, but suddenly they were, kissing beneath the scattered stars, her hands on his chest, his arms wrapping around her waist. It was gentle at first, almost questioning, but quickly deepened into something more urgent, more certain. When they finally pulled apart, Noah felt slightly dizzy, as if the ground beneath them had shifted. Eliza's cheeks were flushed, her eyes bright. "Wow," she whispered. "Yeah," Noah agreed, not letting go of her waist. "Wow indeed." The weeks that followed were a blur of coffee dates, dinner dates, and long walks through the winding streets of Boston. Noah learned that Eliza sang in the shower and preferred the comic section of the newspaper over the front page. She discovered his habit of taking photographs of interesting doorways and his inability to cook anything more complex than scrambled eggs. One Saturday morning, about a month after they'd met, Noah invited Eliza to his sister's bakery. Madeline had been pestering him to bring her by, curious about the woman who had stolen her brother's precious jacket, and apparently his heart along with it. Sweet Nothing's bakery was buzzing with weekend customers when they arrived. Madeline spotted them immediately and waved them over to the counter, her flour-dusted apron and messy bun giving her an endearingly chaotic appearance. "So, you're the famous Eliza," Madeline said, extending a hand. "I was beginning to think Noah had made you up. All good things, I hope?" Eliza asked, shaking Madeline's hand. "Oh, nothing but praise," Madeline assured her, shooting Noah a teasing glance. "My brother isn't exactly known for his spontaneous acts of chivalry. So when he told me how you two met, I knew you had to be special." Noah felt his ears grow warm. "Maddie, please." "What?" "It's true," Madeline said innocently. "Remember, Angela? You wouldn't even lend her your spare umbrella." Angela was allergic to rain, Noah protested. She literally refused to go outside if there was even a chance of precipitation. Eliza laughed, slipping her hand into Noah's. "Well, I'm grateful for his momentary lapse into knight in shining armor territory. Otherwise, we might never have met." Madeline's expression softened. "I'm glad you two found each other. Now who wants to try my new raspberry chocolate scones?" On the house, of course. After sampling nearly half the pastries in the display case, Noah and Eliza bid Madeline goodbye and headed to the Boston Common for a walk. The day was perfect. Clear blue skies, a gentle breeze, the trees just beginning to show hints of autumn color. "I like your sister," Eliza said as they strolled along the path. "She's exactly how you described her." "She likes you too," Noah replied. "I can tell. She only gives free pastries to people she approves of." Eliza bumped her shoulder against his playfully. "Good to know I passed the test." Family approval is important. Noah hesitated, then asked, "Speaking of family, when do I get to meet yours?" Eliza's smile faltered slightly. "My parents are still in San Francisco, and they're complicated." "Complicated how?" Noah asked gently. Eliza sighed, finding a bench for them to sit on. "They have very specific ideas about who I should be with. Traditional values, you know. They expected me to marry someone from a similar background, someone Chinese, preferably someone with a prestigious, stable career, doctor, lawyer, that sort of thing. And I'm none of those things," Noah said, understanding dawning. "It's not that they're bad people," Eliza rushed to explain. They sacrificed so much to come to America, to give me and my brother opportunities they never had. I think they feel entitled to some say in major life decisions. Have you told them about me?" Noah asked, trying to keep his tone neutral. Eliza, looked down at their intertwined hands. Not exactly. I mentioned I was seeing someone, but I didn't go into details. I'm sorry, Noah. I know how that must sound. Noah was quiet for a moment, processing this. So where does that leave us? I don't know, Eliza admitted. I care about you, more than I expected to care about anyone I just met. But I also don't want to hurt my parents. They're important to me. I understand, Noah said, though a knot had formed in his stomach. Family is important. They sat in silence for a while. The earlier lightness of the day suddenly weighted with uncertainty. Let's not worry about it right now, Noah finally said, squeezing her hand. We've only known each other a month. We have time to figure things out. Eliza smiled gratefully, but Noah couldn't help noticing. It didn't quite reach her eyes. As autumn deepened, so did their relationship. Noah found himself spending more evenings at Eliza's apartment than his own. Her place was warmer somehow, filled with her illustrations, colorful throw pillows, and the constantly changing collection of flowers she kept on her small dining table. One night, as they lay tangled together on her couch watching an old movie, Noah's phone buzzed with a text message. It was from his boss, Roger, with an opportunity that made his heart race. Everything okay? Eliza asked, noticing his sudden tension. Yeah, it's just... Noah sat up, running a hand through his hair. Remember that dream job I told you about? Photographing ancient ruins around the world. Eliza nodded, sitting up as well. Of course. Well, Roger just texted. There's an opening for a 6-month project documenting historical sites across Europe and parts of North Africa. He recommended me for it. Noah, that's amazing, Eliza exclaimed, her face lighting up. This is exactly what you've always wanted. It is, Noah agreed, but couldn't muster the enthusiasm he thought he'd feel. But 6 months is a long time. To be away. Eliza's expression grew serious. It is, but this is your dream. You can't pass it up because of me. Who said anything about passing it up because of you? Noah said, though they both knew that was exactly what he was considering. Noah, Eliza said firmly, taking his face in her hands. Listen to me. We've only known each other for 2 months. I'm not going anywhere. Your dream has been waiting much longer than I have. Noah leaned his forehead against hers. What if things change while I'm gone? What if you meet someone else? Someone your parents would approve of? That's not going to happen, Eliza insisted. I'm not looking for someone my parents would approve of. I'm looking for someone who makes me feel the way you do. Noah kissed her then. A desperate, clinging sort of kiss that betrayed his fear of losing her. When they pulled apart, Eliza's eyes were shining with unshed tears. Take the job, she whispered. We'll figure out the rest. 2 weeks later, Noah stood in the departure terminal at Logan International Airport. Eliza's arms wrapped tightly around his waist. His leather jacket, the one he'd lent her that rainy night, was back on his shoulders. At her insistence. You'll need it more than I will, she'd said when she handed it to him the night before. European winters can be brutal. I'll call as often as I can, Noah promised, breathing in the scent of her hair, trying to memorize everything about this moment. And we'll video chat. It'll be like I never left. They both knew it wasn't true, but neither wanted to acknowledge it. I have something for you, Eliza said, reaching into her purse. She pulled out a small sketchbook. Open it when you're on the plane. Noah tucked it carefully into his carry-on bag. I love you, he said. The words still new on his tongue. They'd only said them for the first time a few days ago. The impending separation, making them both more honest about their feelings. I love you too, Eliza replied, her voice catching. Now go, before I change my mind and hide your passport. One last kiss. one last embrace. And then Noah was walking through security, turning back once to see Eliza standing exactly where he'd left her, arms wrapped around herself as if she were cold. On the plane, when the seatbelt sign finally turned off, Noah reached for the sketchbook. Inside, he found page after page of illustrations. Of him, of them together, of places they'd visited, moments they'd shared. At the back was a letter, written in Eliza's flowing script. Noah, by the time you read this, you'll be thousands of miles away, probably freaking out a little, in that controlled way you do. Wondering if we made the right decision. We did. This opportunity is everything you've worked for, and I couldn't live with myself if I held you back. I want you to know that I meant what I said. I'm not going anywhere. Yes, my parents are still an issue we'll have to face, but they're my issue to deal with, not yours. When you come back, I promise we'll figure it out together. In the meantime, I've filled this book with memories of us. When you feel far away, or when you start to doubt what we have, look through these pages and remember, a stranger lent me his jacket on a rainy night, and somehow, I found my way home. All my love. Eliza. Noah closed the book, tears pricking at the corners of his eyes. He looked out the window at the clouds below, feeling both farther from and closer to Eliza than he'd ever been. The first month apart was the hardest. The time difference made communication difficult, and Noah's schedule was packed with long days of travel and photography. He'd fall into bed exhausted each night, often too tired to do more than send a quick message to let Eliza know he was safe. For her part, Eliza threw herself into her work, taking on more illustration projects than usual. To fill the hours that would have been spent with Noah, she started a private Instagram account where she posted daily sketches, mostly of places she imagined Noah visiting. Based on his descriptions and the photos he sent, they settled into a routine of sorts. Sunday mornings, for Noah, evenings for Eliza, became their sacred time for video calls. They'd make coffee or tea, find a comfortable spot, and talk for hours, pretending they were sitting across from each other instead of an ocean apart. I met your parents today, Eliza said during one such call, about 3 months into Noah's trip. Or, well, they met me. Noah sat up straighter, suddenly alert despite his fatigue. What do you mean? They came to Boston for a conference, Eliza explained, tucking her hair behind her ear, a nervous gesture he recognized. My mom tracked me down at work. Apparently my brother let it slip that I was seeing someone when they called him last week. And, Noah prompted, his heart racing. How did it go? Eliza sighed. About as well as expected. They were polite, but clearly disappointed when they realized you weren't Chinese. My mom kept asking subtle questions about your job stability and financial prospects. Noah winced. I'm sorry, Eliza. Don't be, she said firmly. I told them exactly how I feel. About you. I told them about how we met, about your photography, about how you make me laugh. I showed them some of your work on your website. And did that help? Noah asked, not daring to hope. A little maybe, Eliza admitted. My dad seemed impressed. Buy your portfolio. My mom. Well, she'll take more convincing. But the important thing is that I stood up to them. I told them that while I value their opinion, my relationship with you is my decision to make. Pride swelled in Noah's chest. That couldn't have been easy. It wasn't, Eliza agreed. But loving you is easy, Noah Bennett. Everything else is just details. The call ended too soon. As always, leaving Noah with a familiar ache in his chest, he opened Eliza's sketchbook, now worn from constant handling, and traced his fingers over her drawings. 3 more months, he reminded himself. Just 3 more months. But 2 weeks later, everything changed. Noah was in Morocco, photographing ancient Roman ruins, when he received a frantic call from Madeline. "Noah, thank God I reached you," she said, her voice tight with worry. "It's Eliza. She's in the hospital." The world seemed to tilt beneath Noah's feet. "What happened? Is she okay?" "She was hit by a car while crossing the street," Madeline explained. "She's stable, but she has a broken leg, some broken ribs, and a concussion. The doctors say she'll recover fully, but it's going to take time." "I need to come home," Noah said immediately, already calculating the fastest route back to Boston. "Can you stay with her until I get there?" "Of course," Madeline assured him. "I'll keep you updated on everything." The next 48 hours were a blur of cancelled bookings, rescheduled flights, and anxious waiting. Noah called Roger to explain the situation, expecting resistance about leaving the project unfinished. To his surprise, his boss was understanding. "Family comes first, Noah," Roger said. "We can find someone to cover the remaining sites. Just get home safely." When Noah finally arrived at Massachusetts General Hospital, he looked like he'd been through a war zone himself, unshaven, disheveled, with dark circles under his eyes from 2 sleepless nights of travel. He found Madeline in the waiting area, nursing a cup of coffee. "How is she?" he asked, dropping his bags at his feet. Madeline stood, giving him a tight hug. "She's doing better. The doctors say she's healing well. She's awake and asking for you." "Can I see her?" Noah asked, already moving toward the hall. "Room 312, Madeline called after him. "I'll watch your stuff." Noah took the stairs, too impatient to wait for the elevator. When he reached Eliza's room, he paused in the doorway, his breath catching in his throat. She lay in the hospital bed, her leg in a cast, her face bruised along one side. An IV line ran into her arm, and a heart monitor beeped steadily beside her. Despite all this, when she turned and saw him, her entire face lit up. "Noah," she whispered, her voice hoarse. "You're here." He crossed the room in 3 strides, carefully gathering her into his arms, mindful of her injuries. "Of course I'm here," he murmured into her hair. "I should never have left." "Don't say that," Eliza said, pulling back to look at him. "This wasn't your fault. It was just a stupid accident." "I should have been here," Noah insisted, guilt gnawing at him. "If I hadn't gone, then you would have missed out on the opportunity of a lifetime," Eliza interrupted. "And I would have been hit by a car anyway, because I wasn't paying attention." When I crossed the street, Noah sat on the edge of the bed, taking her hand in his. "When Madeline called, I thought I might lose you. You can't get rid of me that easily," Eliza said with a weak smile. "Though I do look a bit like a zombie right now." "You're beautiful," Noah said fiercely. "And I'm not leaving your side again." Eliza squeezed his hand. "What about the project? You still have months left." "Roger found someone to take over," Noah explained. "Some things are more important than work." A comfortable silence fell between them, broken only by the steady beeping of the heart monitor. Noah noticed a vase of fresh flowers on the bedside table. Peonies, Eliza's favorite. "My parents brought those," Eliza said, following his gaze. "They flew in yesterday when they heard about the accident." Noah tensed. "Your parents are here, in Boston?" Eliza nodded. "They're at my apartment now, getting some rest. They've been here night and day." She hesitated, then added, "They want to meet you, properly this time." Before Noah could respond, there was a knock at the door. An older couple stood in the doorway. The woman petite, with Eliza's warm eyes. The man tall with a dignified bearing. "Mom, Dad," Eliza said, beckoning them in. "This is Noah. Noah, these are my parents, Lynn and Thomas Chen. Noah stood, suddenly acutely aware of his disheveled appearance. "Mr. and Mrs. Chen, it's an honor to meet you." Thomas Chen stepped forward, extending his hand. "So you're the young man who lent our daughter his jacket." Noah shook his hand, surprised by the firm grip. "Yes, sir." "And then flew halfway around the world the moment you heard she was hurt," Lynn added, her expression unreadable. "I would have flown farther," Noah said simply. Lynn and Thomas exchanged a look that Noah couldn't interpret. Then, to his surprise, Lynn stepped forward and embraced him. "Thank you for coming back to her," she said softly. "Maybe you are exactly what she needs after all." The days that followed were a crash course in family dynamics. With Eliza in the hospital for a week, Noah found himself spending more time with her parents than he had anticipated. To his surprise, they were warm and welcoming, if a bit reserved. Thomas helped Noah collect Eliza's things from her apartment and set up a temporary bedroom in Noah's living room. Since his apartment had an elevator, while hers did not, Lynn cooked traditional Chinese dishes, filling Noah's usually empty refrigerator with Tupperware containers of food. "My mother thinks you're too skinny," Eliza explained from her hospital bed when Noah mentioned the abundance of food. "Feeding people is how she shows love." "Your parents are not what I expected," Noah admitted. "Your father actually helped me reorganize my photo archives yesterday." Eliza smiled. "They're trying, for me, and I think they're starting to see what I see in you." When Eliza was finally discharged, Noah and her parents worked together to make her comfortable in his apartment. Thomas assembled a special desk that could be used from the couch so Eliza could continue her illustration work. Lynn arranged for a housekeeper to come twice a week, ignoring Noah's protests that he could manage. "Let us help," Lynn said firmly. "You have your work to do and our daughter to care for. This is what family does." The word family hung in the air between them, weighted with meaning. Noah found himself unexpectedly moved by her inclusion of him in that term. As the weeks passed, Eliza's recovery progressed steadily. She graduated from a wheelchair to crutches, began physical therapy, and slowly regained her strength. Noah worked from home as much as possible, taking only local photography jobs, so he could be available if she needed him. One evening, about 2 months after the accident, Noah returned from a photo shoot to find Eliza standing in the kitchen, leaning on one crutch, stirring something on the stove. "What are you doing?" he asked, setting down his camera bag. "You're supposed to be resting." "I was tired of resting," Eliza replied, not turning around. "And I wanted to surprise you with dinner. Your sister gave me her famous pasta sauce recipe." Noah came up behind her, wrapping his arms carefully around her waist. "You know you don't have to cook for me." "I know," Eliza said, leaning back against him. "But I wanted to thank you for everything you've done these past months." "You don't need to thank me," Noah murmured into her hair. "I love you. This is what you do when you love someone." Eliza turned in his arms, her eyes serious. "Move in with me." Noah blinked, caught off guard. "What?" "When I'm better," Eliza clarified. "When I can go back to my apartment, come with me, or we can find a new place together. I don't care which. I just know I don't want to live without you anymore." "Are you sure?" Noah asked, searching her face. "It's a big step." "I've never been more sure of anything," Eliza said. "These past few months have shown me exactly what I want. And it's you, Noah Bennett. It's always been you, ever since that rainy night when you gave your jacket to a stranger." Noah's answer was a kiss, deep and certain, his hands cradling her, face as if she were the most precious thing in the world. "Is that a yes?" Eliza asked when they finally pulled apart, her eyes dancing with happiness. "That's a yes," Noah confirmed. 1,000 times yes. 6 months later, on the anniversary of the night they met, Noah and Eliza stood beneath the same coffee shop awning where they'd first taken shelter from the rain. This time, the weather was cooperating. A perfect spring evening with a sky painted in watercolor shades of pink and gold. "I can't believe it's been a year," Eliza said, her hand nestled in Noah's. "Sometimes it feels like we just met, and other times like I've known you forever." "Best impulsive decision I ever made," Noah replied, "giving my jacket to a beautiful stranger." Eliza laughed, leaning into him. "You know, I still have that jacket. I stole it back from your closet last week." "I know," Noah said with a smile. "I saw you wearing it yesterday morning." They walked slowly down the street, enjoying the familiar route. Their new apartment was just a few blocks away. A spacious 2-bedroom they'd found after months of searching, with large windows perfect for Eliza's art studio, and a spare room Noah had converted into a dark room. "Oh, I almost forgot," Eliza said suddenly, stopping in her tracks. "I have something for you." She reached into her purse and pulled out a small wrapped package. "What's this for?" Noah asked, taking it from her. "Just open it," Eliza urged, a nervous excitement in her eyes. Noah unwrapped the package to find a leather-bound journal, similar to the sketchbook she'd given him before his trip. But when he opened it, instead of drawings, he found blank pages. "I don't understand," he said, looking up at her questioningly. Eliza took a deep breath. "My parents called yesterday. They've invited us to visit them in San Francisco this summer. I thought maybe you could use this to plan our trip. You know, document all the places you want to photograph there." Noah's heart swelled. "They want me to come too?" "They insisted," Eliza said, her smile radiant. "My mom specifically said, 'Tell Noah we expect him to bring his camera. Your father wants to show him the best spots in the city for photography.'" Noah pulled her close, overwhelming gratitude washing over him. "I never thought. When I lent you my jacket that night, I never expected any of this." "That's the beauty of it, isn't it?" Eliza said, rising on her tiptoes to kiss him. "The best things in life are the ones we never see coming." As they continued their walk home, hand in hand beneath the deepening twilight, Noah reflected on the strange, wonderful journey that had brought them here. A single act of kindness on a rainy night had changed the course of his life in ways he could never have imagined. He squeezed Eliza's hand, feeling the familiar warmth of her skin against his. Sometimes he thought, the most extraordinary stories begin with the simplest of gestures, like lending a jacket to a stranger in the rain.